Hidden treasure is often hiding in plain sight, and through a skilled eye, or more often than not pure luck, it can be uncovered in the most surprising places. An everyday person's life can be transformed by a single amazing find. Although you may never find one of these kinds of items, you can live vicariously through today's video. From golden cups to Chinese bowls, here are the top 10 most incredible expensive finds. Gold nugget. Striking gold is a classic tale as old as time itself. Gold is a very sought-after item, with many men flocking out west in the 1800s during the gold rush to get their hands on the highly desired metal. And one Scottish man who used a method called sniping to find a gigantic gold nugget was extremely lucky. By lying face down in the water and watching the rocks and silt as they flew past his face, the anonymous man was able to snag a huge gold nugget. This is no small feat, as this piece is the largest gold nugget ever found in the Scottish River. Weighing in at 85.7 grams, this gold nugget is worth over $60,000. Yes, you heard that right. This one find made this man more money than most people make in a year. 1700-year-old Roman sarcophagus. One day at the Blenheim Palace in England, an anonymous visitor who was an archaeologist realized that the flower plant box at Blenheim Palace was not as innocent as it seemed. In reality, this plant box was a 1700-year-old Roman sarcophagus, and it was hiding in plain sight. While other archaeologists may have noticed that it was a Roman sarcophagus, no one had reported it to any media outlet or authorities. It was a very fortunate thing that this man did, because the Roman sarcophagus was worth over $300,000. It's unsure how much of the man who wished to remain anonymous was awarded out of this sum, if anything at all. It really makes you wonder just how many great finds are hiding in plain sight. Antique chair with hidden surprise. You just never know what you'll find stashed in an old piece of furniture, but sometimes you can hit the jackpot. This is exactly what happened to Angela Milner Brown and her husband Angus, who are from Beggar, South Lancashire. The two won a quick auction and bought a chair for only $6. They couldn't afford to have it reupholstered immediately, so it sat in their attic for several more years. But one day they decided to dig out the chair so it could be refinished. Angus decided to remove some of the cushioning, and when he got down to the fourth layer, he found an incredible surprise. Inside of the chair there was a diamond ring, a diamond brooch, and a pair of diamond earrings. Angus decided to keep the secret items and surprise his wife with the newfound treasures, hiding them and then giving them to his wife over the course of the next couple of weeks. The ecstatic couple eventually got the diamonds appraised, which were valued at $6,500. That's one serious return on a small investment. Ancient gold cup, $620,000. Family heirlooms are nice, but for the most part, they hold only sentimental value. They are passed down from generation to generation, but are rarely worth anything. That's what separates the golden cup that 70-year-old John Weber was given by his grandfather from everything else. John said that when he was alive, his grandfather always had a good eye for valuables in the scrapyard that he worked at. When John's father died in the war, his grandfather gave him the cup as a gift. The cup soon became another collectible and occasionally a target for John's air gun. However, if John knew just how valuable the chalice was, he would not have shot at it. As it so happens, that same golden cup was actually a golden cup created by Achaemenid metalworkers. This piece is not only over 2,000 years old, but it is incredibly valuable. After John rediscovered it in his shoebox, he got it appraised and, like most people, was astonished by its value. Its total worth was well over $620,000. Old baseball cards. Everyone who has played baseball has owned baseball cards at some point. Most people inherit their parents' baseball cards, which are often old collections that were saved to be worth something someday. But alas, most baseball card collections are worth very little. It is not just the age and amount of cards in the collection that makes them worth something. In fact, most of the time, the rarity of the card is what makes it most important to collectors. One family found this out when they discovered a dilapidated brown paper bag in their house. It was a forgotten family keepsake, and in it contained nothing out of the ordinary, just a couple of baseball cards. In fact, 7 of them were identical. But to everyone's surprise, those 7 cards ended up being worth thousands of dollars. Ty Cobb, a baseball player from the 1900s, still had the highest batting average in the Major League Baseball ever, making this card extremely rare. The baseball cards in question were printed from 1901 to 1911, and only 15 cards total were circulated around the world. The family had the cards appraised and were shocked that the cards were worth well over $100,000. Norman Rockwell's painting. Norman Rockwell is one of America's most famous and beloved painters. His paintings were emblematic in the 40s and 50s, and he captured the culture of America in that time period. Norman's paintings can be found in art collections and museums across the country, and it is an honor to some to be able to own one of his paintings. Not to mention, they are also incredibly valuable. One family was surprised when they cleaned their grandfather's house and found something amazing behind a wall. The family always knew that the painting covering the wall was a fake Norman Rockwell painting, but when they peeled back the wall, they didn't expect to find a real Norman Rockwell painting in its place. Their 89-year-old grandfather had forgotten to tell his family that he had hidden the real Norman Rockwell painting and hung the imitation in front of it years ago. The grandfather had purchased the painting decades ago when he and Rockwell were neighbors for around $600. But now the painting is worth thousands of dollars. Gold ingots in a tank of a tank. Many of us will never get to be near an army tank in our lifetime, let alone buy and work with tanks every day. But that's not the case for Nick Mead, who curates and purchases tanks for a living. He leases these tanks to movie production companies, showcase events, and tank driving experience businesses. Finding good deals on tanks is a part of Nick's job, and he was very happy when he sunk a deal on a Chinese Type 69 that was for sale on eBay. After buying the tank, which was commonly used in the Gulf War, he had it shipped to his office, where he and his team began to inspect and clean the tank. Interestingly enough, the fuel tanks of the war machine were extremely heavy, and fearing that there may be guns in them, Nick and his team contacted the police and filmed themselves opening the fuel tank. What happened next shocked them. As they reached inside, they didn't pull out guns, but solid bars of gold. It turns out the Iraqis had stolen gold from Kuwait and had hidden them in a variety of places, including tanks. Nick and his team ultimately found over $1.5 million worth of gold in the tank. Ancient Chinese Bowl. Yard sales are very hit and miss. Sometimes they hold incredible treasures, while other times they seem to be missed opportunities or rip-offs. It takes a keen eye to realize what is valuable against a sea of junk, or in some cases, pure unadulterated luck. One smart consignment shopper picked out a Chinese ceramic bowl and purchased it for $3. The plain, carved white bowl looked like any other cheap porcelain bowl that you would normally see hanging around the average yard sale. In this case, however, the kitchen dish was of the rare ding variety. Characterized by thin white carved bowls with intricate floral accents, there had previously been only one ding bowl discovered previously. After having the bowl appraised, the lucky shopper realized that they were in possession of something special. The bowl was sold in a Chinese art social in New York for $2,225,000. You could say it was well worth the $3 that they originally paid for it. World's largest pearl. Fishermen can often find clams, as it is a daily occurrence, albeit one that is not very interesting. However, one Filipino man found a very large clam one day and opened it up. Inside, he found a giant pearl that measured 2 feet long by 1 foot wide. Believing it to be a sign of good luck, he hid it under his bed in the hope that it would give him more good fortune. Ironically, a couple of years later, the man's house burnt down. Needing the cash, the man brought out the pearl to sell it. Once it was appraised, it was found to have incredible worth. For 10 years, the man had kept an incredible secret. Weighing over 75 pounds, this pearl was the largest the world had ever seen. And lucky for him, it was worth over $100 million. In one day, the man had gone from a poor, down-on-his-luck fisherman, and the next day, he was a multi-millionaire, all because of one lucky clam. Celtic coins. The Roman Empire and Celtic kingdoms were massive, spanning for miles and across many current-day countries. It's not a surprise that their currencies, which were produced in the millions, are still being found today. To keep their value, the government of those ancient states often printed the coins in precious metals, gold and silver. An Irish farmer contacted 2 treasure hunters and made a deal with them. On certain days after the harvest season was over, the pair could hunt for coins rumored to be hidden under the dirt on the farm. The coins had previously been scattered and were buried underneath the soil. The two eventually found coins that were worth thousands of dollars. Due to Irish law being different than British law, they were able to keep the coins for their full value, making this an amazing find. That concludes our video on 10 incredible expensive finds. Let us know which one of these you found the most awesome. And if you liked the video, then click the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you'll be the first to know when we release a new video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.